1, start. Hi everybody from home. I'm just going to show you guys how you can participate in our printmaking unit from home with the supplies you have. So what you're going to need is an apple or a potato, some sort of starchy vegetable or fruit that you can cut into. That's what you're going to need. If you don't have one, let me know and I'll try to give you another idea. So normally we would be carving on a linoleum block like this, which is what we'll be doing in class. But at home, you don't have access to those materials, so you're going to use a vegetable or fruit like this potato. And in class today, we're going to all be practicing with the potato before we start carving our linoleum blocks, just to make sure we don't mess up. So these are called what? What are these?
Gouge tools.
Gouge tools. Okay. Each gouge tool has a number on the back. The bigger the number, the bigger it cuts. Okay. So we have a number 1, we have a number 4, and we have a number 3. There's also number 5 and number 2, but these are the ones I'm going to use now. So the first thing is, after you make your transfer onto the linoleum, or in this case the potato, which you would just draw directly onto, you're going to take something like a toothpick or something sharp that you can use to cut. And in this case, I have these tools available, so I will use these gouge tools. And you're going to decide what you want to show up. So if I cut all the background out around the heart, what's gonna, and then I print with black ink, what's gonna show up?
The heart.
The heart. If I cut the heart out and leave the background, what's going to show up with the ink?
The background.
The background, okay? So I think I'm going to cut around the background with my bigger tool, just because it'll go a little quicker. Now, as you can see, I hold this in my palm like so. Okay, I don't hold it like a pencil, that's unsafe. Ideally, with the linoleum block, you would be working here on the bench hook so that you don't stab anything and you run into the bench hook. But with a potato, you don't really have options, so I'm just going to ask you to be extremely careful while you are carving. I'm going to hold this in my palm and I'm going to dig in. As soon as I want to come out, my elbow drops and I come up, like so. Okay, we're going to carefully cut around the heart, making sure my hand is out of the way. So what could happen if I cut like this? Cut my finger all the way off. Okay, these are dangerous tools. You're going to cut all the way around. You need to make sure that you get the background or whatever it is you're cutting small enough or short enough so that it doesn't affect your print. I'm gonna have Talon, can you come put some of this ink onto, that, what's that called?
Black plate. Plastic sheet.
So this is the Baron. What's the roller called?
The
Brayer. Okay, I'm gonna have you put some ink onto the plastic sheet and then roll it with the brayer until it makes what sound? Velcro, like this. Okay. I'm gonna have you do that while I finish cutting this.
Oh God. Yeah. Another.
Okay. I'm gonna use my thinner tool to go around just to make sure I get more of a precise cut. You're gonna grab a toothpick right there, or not toothpick, sorry, popsicle stick right there, and scoop it out onto the sheet. Okay, you got to make sure you get this really cut down, or else what's going to happen? All these funky lines are going to show up in the background, which some people like, but for us, we're going to try really hard to just get a clean print starting out. So we're going to avoid that. Good. And that's plenty for this small little potato print, so that'll be great. Okay.
Roll it out?
Roll it out. Thank you.
Go savage mode. God's quick as he can.
So you guys at home, you're not going to have access to ink, I'm guessing. So you can use paint,
Marker ink.
If you really don't have anything, you could find something in the kitchen to dip this into and dip it onto a paper towel or a plate. Something that's going to show up. So maybe like ketchup or mustard. And then you just need to take a picture of that and submit that to my Google Classroom so I can see that you participated today. If you have issues, please reach out via email to me and I will help you address those issues.
That's good, right?
Perfect.
I have a question.
Question?
So if you were doing this from home, would you suggest using a knife or X-Acto knife to do this?
I would not suggest using a knife unless you have your parent home who can make sure you don't cut your finger off.
What if your parents allow you to use?
I need someone to grab me a small piece of paper up there that we use for our transfers. You just leave that in there. Now, what's this stuff called when it's linoleum? Who remembers?
Chatter.
Chatter, okay? This is like hash brown chatter.
Can we make hash browns with it?
Just a little piece of paper to the left. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, roll out that ink one more time just to make sure it's working. And I'm going to add some last minute touches to this. Trim the edges so they don't show up.
That's fast.
I actually really like carving
I know, right?
things. It's kind of fun. I think you guys will enjoy doing this. Okay.
I did that.
Thank you, Andrew. Perfect. Okay, so this is a little different. Normally you would roll the ink onto the linoleum block that you carved. You would roll it vertically and horizontally. Okay, in this case, we are not going to be doing that because this is more of a stamp sort of print. So I'm going to, I'm going to try to maybe get the area that I couldn't get, but that's a big challenge.
Miss Bennett, would you suggest using a stamp pad?
If you have a stamp pad at home or your mom or dad does, then that would probably work well. Like I said, this is not ideal, but this is kind of us working with what we've got. Sometimes we have to be resourceful and work with what we've got. Kind of missing one little spot here. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to put this ink on my finger and put it right on there. Okay?
Miss Bennett.
Big cheater. All right. Ready?
Just like in a relationship.
Are we going to use a Baron?
No.
No, we're not going to use a Baron for this because we're not going to have a flat surface. We're not going to be having our paper on the other side of our print and using a Baron, okay? We're just going to be using this as a stamp. This is kind of a different sort of printmaking, but it works well nonetheless. Okay, obviously we had some technical difficulties. What do you think we could do in the future to prevent these technical difficulties? Raise your hand if you have an idea.
Not
Hayden.
use a potato.
Well, if we have to use a potato, what do you think we could do to prevent these little things from happening?
You can press harder, or maybe press lighter.
Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna press super hard. Okay, that one is a little better. Okay. So kids at home, what I want you to do is find a starchy fruit or vegetable like so. Find something that you can use to carve a design or symbol into the starchy vegetable, and find something you can use in place of paint or ink to stamp your potato stamp onto something, and then you're going to take a picture of that and submit it to me in Google Classroom. Thank you.